Hi again. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create your MyOpenMath account, or if you already have an account, to put in the new class and get started and do the orientation. So I'm on the login screen, which is in D2L. You can get a link from there, or you can go to myopenmath.com. And this is the sign-in screen, but if you've never been here before, you're going to click on register as a new student. This is our free online homework system, so it's going to ask you to create a username and a password, first name, last name, email address. You might want to use your MyPCC email address, so all emails might go there. Then you need the course ID and the enrollment key from the syllabus, okay? So scroll down on the syllabus until you find that. Then enter all that and click on sign up, okay? I already have an account. If you have an account from a last term or a previous term, then go ahead and put in your information, or if you need to, restore your password or username, use those links, and then go ahead and log in. So if you've used the system before, you'll need to go down to the bottom. You can see I've used this for a lot of terms. You'll need to go down at the bottom, and it should say something like enroll in a new class. So click on that, and then it'll ask you for the enrollment key and the ID, or whatever those two things are called. It'll ask you for those. Okay, let me get that set back up. So then once you do either one of those things, you should see a link right up at the top here. So I'm going to click on our course, and then I'll just give you kind of an overview of the layout here. So these are going to be all of our modules. Up at the top, you can use forums and gradebook. Those are going to be the most important ones. You might want to use the calendar too to see when things are due, but in general they're always due Monday nights, so unless there's a holiday. So the calendar's pretty straightforward. You also have the similar tools on the left here: roster, gradebook to see your scores or see if you've completed everything, and so on. Okay, I have some extra things here because I'm an instructor. Okay, so there's a welcome tab here. You can either click on the title or the triangle, and that will expand it for you. This is just a little intro, and there's a link to tutoring and a link to the textbook if you ever want those. We're going to start in the first module. So this is the orientation assignment. These are some kind of silly questions just to get you used to how the system works. And then every module has a forum, and I'll explain what that is. And then each of them has either one or two homework assignments. You can see the due dates at the bottom. And when it says LP, that stands for late pass. Late pass should be allowed on every assignment. This is a great feature of the system. It lets you give yourself your own extension. So if you click on late pass, then you will get your deadline will be extended by 1 week. Okay, I do have a flexible policy, so if you ever get behind or something comes up, please use this. Please contact me if you need more late passes. I can give you more. Of course, it's important not to let it snowball, but I know there's a lot going on right now. So you have that if you need it. I do have high expectations that go with that. I want you to get 100% on all of these assignments, and you have unlimited tries to do that. So let's just go through some of the orientation together, and you can see how it works. Okay, so I'm going to try this. Yeah, okay. I think this is the best view. So I can see all the questions right here. I can see I have not done any of them. And this gives you an overview of all the different types of questions. So this is true, false. I've created an account and I'm logged into MyOpenMath. Well, duh, I have to be to see this. So that is true. And I hit submit. Okay, great. Now I can either use the right arrow or I can click on question 2, either way. This one's a multiple choice, so that means I need to select from these assignments or from these answers, and when there's a circle, that means there's only one right answer. Okay, so I'm going to select the right one right there. Okay, now let me show you what happens if I got it wrong. I would see something red. Okay, so by a color it also shows you, and you can see, you know, which ones you've gotten right or wrong. You might need to skip some, you know, go to office hours, tutoring, come back later. You can always do that. You don't have to do them in order. I could say, oh, I'm just going to skip that for now. I'm going to go to question 3. Now, when there's a square, that means multiple answers are usually right. So this is a tricky part because you have to figure out, there's a lot of different combinations, which ones are right. So here I have it partially right and partially wrong. And you can see it's yellow. So there's a yellow, green, red, yellow system. If it's yellow, it means it's partially right, but I don't know what is right and what is wrong, okay? Except fortunately on this silly orientation, I know these are right and I know that one's wrong. So now I've got the right combination of things. Okay, if you ever get stuck, there's another wonderful feature of this, and it's called the forums. So every question at the bottom has a link, post to forum. So I'll show you what happens when you do that. When you do that, it automatically creates this message, and it puts your question in the message, which is great. And then right up here, please type a question like, I tried this and it's not working. Can you help me? Or, you know, don't just leave it blank. Put in some question, something, I don't understand this word, or something that helps us know what your question is, okay? So put something in there, and then you might have to fill in these things, and then go ahead and post the thread. I'm not going to do it right now, but then when you do that, it will appear in forums. And oops, I always do that. If you click on course, it goes back to this page. If you click on home, it takes you out to all of your courses. So try to remember to click on course. Okay, and my brain's a little fuzzy from the break. Okay, so here is where you will see the forum. So let's say you're stuck on one and you want to see if someone else has already posted it. That's a great thing to do. So I click on forums, and then I would see red showing that there's new messages in here, whatever forum I'm in, and then I would see the post, and it has the question number in the thread post. So I believe also if it's already been posted about, it'll tell you that. When you try to post, it'll say it's already been posted. So then that'll cue you to go into the forums and look for that information. And then if you have a similar question, you know, your question might be answered there, or you can add on to the discussion and say, oh, I need help with this too. I'm struggling with this part, anything like that. So let me go back into the orientation. You can also, as you can see, you can go out and back in. Every single question is recorded separately, so it remembers what I did. So it's not like you have to do it all and then submit at the end. I know some systems work like that, but it's recording every single question individually. Okay, so use the forums. I have both of my classes in the same shell here, so that there's a lot of people, there's about 50 people that can help each other, and 51 with me. So I'll be checking these often. I check these every day for questions and try to answer them. It's also great because let's say it's Monday at 11 o'clock and you're trying to finish something by 11:59. I've probably gone to bed, but other students might be up working on the same questions, so you can help each other when I'm not available. Okay, so that's the post to forum. Let's see what other kinds of questions there are. Okay, so here's a matching one. These are to test your language skills here. You can Google it if you need to, but I think there's at least one you'll recognize in each group, maybe more, depending on how many languages you speak. So I would just click A, B, C, or D. Let's say, I'm probably getting these wrong because I'm not even looking. And okay, I'm wrong. So at least some of them are wrong. So I'll let you work on figuring out the right answers to that one. Okay. And here's one where sometimes it'll ask you for a word. So this is one where it asks you to go to your textbook. So you're going to go to the online textbook open up section 1.3 and write in the first word of the title. Okay. There are also multi-part questions. So here is this question, and this question. So you have to complete all of them, but because you have unlimited tries, you can always submit part of it. You don't have to do the entire thing and then submit. You can go ahead and submit part of it if you want to. This question 6 is a good question because it helps demonstrate what to do if you get stuck. Maybe there might be an error in a question, or sometimes they get broken. So this is an example of that. There's actually no answer. You don't know what the answer is unless you post this one to the forum. So please, when you get to here, post this question to the forum. It's at the bottom is the link, and then I will reply with the answer. Okay, so that just helps demonstrate what to do if you get stuck, so you can practice that. Or if you think someone's already gotten to it, check the forum and the answer is probably there. Okay, it's better to use the forum than to email me separately, just because then it's on record for everyone to see. And of course, if you feel more strongly about emailing me, you can do that, but this is a little bit nicer system if you use the forum in here. That's question 6. Question 7 has you enter some numbers. So when we get to fractions and things like that, there are these little boxes that you can use. So I can type here, this one tells me just to enter the same fraction that I'm seeing. We're not doing any math right now. We might need to reduce. Okay, I got it right. So then, okay, this one I do have to reduce. So 7 goes into 7 and 28. So I'm going to click on the fraction, and then 7 goes into 7 once, and I'm using the down arrow. 7 goes into 28 4 times, and then I'm going to hit enter. I'm also curious if you could just do 1 divided by 4. Yeah, you can also use the division button. So it doesn't like it because I didn't change my answer. But you can, instead of clicking here, you can also just use the keyboard 1 divided by 4, enter. And that works too. And then, oh, I already submitted it, but it's not turning it back green. That's silly. That's silly. So let me just reload the question. Nope. Okay, but I know I got it right because it's right here. Usually once you get it right, you're not going to change it. So here's some decimal answers. This one has you just enter a decimal and then round it. This one talks about late passes, how you have up to 5 late passes. There are no penalties for using a late pass. There's no penalty. The longer it takes you to answer a question, there's no penalty whatsoever. And then this last one talks about review mode. Review mode is, you see this red message, and what it is after the deadline, you can still use this program to practice, but you'll be in review mode. So that's really good because it means, let's say you've got your 100%, it won't change your score. Like even if you get one wrong, it won't change your score because you're in review mode, but you can still use it to practice. So that's what that's about. The other thing I wanted to tell you about posting to the forum is, let me look for one with numbers. These are probably all have the same numbers right here because it's the orientation, but in general these questions are randomized. So my numbers will be different than your numbers, and every student will have different numbers. They're randomly generated. So the idea is we can help each other, but each person still needs to do their own question. Okay, so it's really important to post this to forum and keep this text in here because it's really important for us to help you to see what numbers you have. And then you can say, okay, I tried doing this, and show your steps. And then we can say, okay, yeah, that step looks right, but maybe it's a rounding thing, or maybe do this step instead. So it's really important to be able to see what numbers you have in your question. Okay, that's why this is such a great feature. Okay, let me go back to course, And then in Gradebook, you will see a list of all of the assignments, and you can check there to see that you've completed everything. I can't click on it because it'll show you all the students. I don't have a student view for this one, but try clicking on it and you'll see all the assignments, and you'll see a bunch of blanks to start with, but then as we go along, you'll see 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. And then at the bottom, you'll see your overall percentage. And I will be manually taking these scores and putting them into the gradebook in D2L. So I don't really use this gradebook, but I mean, I use it to transfer it over into D2L. So you can see if you want to see your MyOpenMath grade, you can use the gradebook there. It's great to just as a check to make sure you've done everything. Okay, let me think if there's anything else I want to show you. Our midterm and final will be in MyOpenMath also. I'll tell you more about that as it gets closer. So Module 5 and 11 look a little bit different. You won't be able to see this until it actually opens because all the other ones are open, but this isn't open to you yet, so you'll see it there. And then same thing when we get down to Module 11, that is where the final is. Okay, I think that covers it. So try getting in and doing the orientation, and please do that by the first Wednesday of the term. And if I don't see you in there, you know, I'll email you, but feel free to email me if you have any questions about it. Okay, great. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.